Welcome to the December 3rd, 2025 Berlin Conservation Commission meeting. As a reminder, my little note's gone that I always read. As a reminder, your voice and image will be recorded. I think it says something else, but. So, first order of business is review and approve the minutes. We had 2 sets of minutes.
3 sets of minutes.
Oh, I only saw 2.
Well, one of them was very short.
Yes, one of them from last meeting was just that
we went into executive session. No. Okay, so what are the dates that we're approving?
They are 10/15, 11/5, and 11/19.
11/19. All right. Does anybody want to make first of all, does anybody have any comments? Lexi, I saw you had a couple just small corrections, and those have been made.
Yes.
Anybody else have anything to say about the minutes? And I will take a motion to approve the minutes from October 15th, November 5th, and November 19th.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Treasurer's report.
The one change that is reflected is the invoice that came from Sign Logic is now taken out of the open space account. So that was a deduction of $520.
Excellent.
That is the only update.
Great.
For bills and forms, we did receive the invoice from Ishan. The invoice is in the total of $783.07. We did vote to only up to $500, so he might just be submitting the invoice for us to give up to the.
So just as an update, I don't remember if we talked about this at the last meeting. Apparently, as a town entity, we cannot donate to things.
I do remember that.
So Ishan has supplied us with an invoice that we're going to reimburse $500 to.
Okay.
I don't know. Do we want to vote on it?
Do we need to?
I don't know, because we already voted
I think we did
the money.
Yeah, we did. That's
Okay,
right.
so it's all good.
Okay.
So that
So
can be
we'll just
signed.
pass this way first.
Do we need
What
to
else?
sign? I think you have authority.
That's right. We
I-
have the thing up
Up
to
to
so
1,000.
much.
Up to 1,000?
Mhm.
I thought it was up to 500. All right, good.
Perfect.
That's all set.
Thank you.
What do we have next?
And then I have an inquiry for the commission. I have been taking MACC classes, and I was wondering if the commission would be willing to reimburse some of those costs. And if not, it's okay.
We would be willing to reimburse all of
Yeah, I
those
was just gonna
costs.
say, I was like, I can't imagine it that much.
Right?
Yeah,
so
so
what do you
it's,
have?
it's 3 classes that total $195.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. So,
Can we do wetlands account on that, or does it?
we can try. Because it is
Yeah.
wetlands related.
I was actually gonna sign up for a bunch, and they all conflicted with stuff I had this fall. So I was like, I was finally like, I'm gonna take them.
They're interesting
Yeah,
classes.
yeah.
They really
Learned a
are.
lot,
Yeah. Which ones have you done so far?
I've done
Are you like doing them kind of in order?
in order. Like
So
there's a
intro,
101, 102,
Yep.
103,
Yep.
104, 105.
I did the first one, and then I stopped. But I should do more.
Yes,
Because
we
it
should
is
all
just very,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's cool to learn.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
They really do. They're engaging and they're absolutely.
Can I have a motion to reimburse Julia $195 for MACC classes?
I would add to that they would come out of the wetlands account, and if not, we approve them coming out of budget?
Yeah.
Or, okay,
Yep.
yeah, so moved with those changes.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
thank you
Yeah.
Taking the classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That is all for bills and forms. For mail-in notices, we have a letter from the National Grid about their yearly operational plan public notice. If anyone would like to see the details of it, I'm happy to share that with them. I don't know if we need to go over it in detail right now.
It's just their herbicide plan, right?
Yes.
Yep.
We also received some mail from Craig De La Pena. He was invited to go to the select board and he filled out a questionnaire. He's including copies of his discussion and material on that, which I can share copies.
I think I
thought
gave
it-
you a
I was
copy
gonna say,
last.
is it the same thing?
Yeah,
The
that was in our
Sudbury-
mailbox last meeting.
Okay.
So if anybody didn't get any, or if anybody would like some, it's about the rail trail. Give us extra.
Alright, perfect. And what, is it 7:15 yet?
It is 7:11.
Okay.
So, let's just move to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, next item is Maplewood Farm.
Well, so 232 Randall Road. It's actually Randall Road, just so you know. It says Randall Street.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Was on the agenda, but DEP has not issued their number yet, so they have asked to be on for the next meeting.
But we have to vote, and I don't think we can vote until 7:15 on
Oh, true, because the public hearings. All right. So Maplewood, we have nothing.
that. No updates there. 92 Allen Road. So this was the enforcement order that they have just put in their erosion controls, done the work. AJ and Phil, thank you, went out about 2 weeks ago to take a look at the work, and this is what it looks
great,
like.
huh? Yeah.
Expensive mishap though.
Yeah.
There was 2 outstanding issues. There was a pile of native soil that still needed to be spread out, and there was 1 wattle that had not been staked, as well as they had not put the final straw down. So Lexi and I went out there today, and through the snow, we could see that the large pile was gone. We couldn't actually see it on the ground, but the large pile was gone, and the wattle was staked. They did not have a chance to put the straw down. They put it down in one section of the property up over here, and this section they ran out of straw, and the truck has been broken down, so they've not been able to go and get more straw, and now there's snow on the ground. So I asked them to A, get it done as soon as the snow melts, and B, let us know as soon as they're able to get it in. But other than getting the straw down on the rest of the area, everything else is completed and looks good.
Awesome. Thank you guys for going out there.
Yes.
I also asked you to swing by Bigelow Street.
Yes, I did. It was getting dark as I got there, so I didn't do a full walk of the perimeter, but I went in a bit, and it was a bit snowy and icy.
It's really just that one steep
Right.
area that I'm
Yes, and
super
that
concerned
looked like
about.
it held up. There was nothing that I saw that flagged any concern. It looked
Awesome.
like it held up well.
awesome.
And I assume we want to wait to lift the enforcement order on 92 Allen until the straw is put down.
Yes.
And for that process, do they have to come into a meeting, or?
Nope.
That's fine.
Nope.
Perfect.
I mean, I'd be happy to go back out again if we know
Awesome.
things have been
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
I mean, it's really.
Since your partner in crime is traveling.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm sure you'd agree. I mean, probably a half an hour with a shovel and a couple rakes, that dirt could be,
Yeah,
would
well,
level things out. I mean,
she-
would
Yeah,
you
so-
agree?
so
the
it's
dirt
simple.
is-
The dirt is leveled out already.
Oh,
They just
good.
have to put the straw on top of the dirt now.
Okay, so that pile is.
Yep, that pile is
I
all
couldn't
gone.
quite tell from the photos. It was gone all day today. Otherwise, I would have joined you. But,
No worries.
Good.
No worries. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Time check.
Time check, 7:14. If we can ask them to come forward. By the time everybody gets settled, it'll.
There it is, 7:15.
7:15.
Woohoo.
Woo!
full copies of our response to comments, so I'll put them here, but I also brought
Thank you.
6 copies of the plans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Awesome.
This is copies of Patrick's.
Total.
Yeah, I actually printed that for myself, so this is Pat, those are Pat's
Oh, okay.
comments. And you have a copy for you?
Yeah.
So, ladies, these are Pat's comments.
Do you have that?
And I,
Julia, could you please pass that set of drawings?
that's the extra set. Okay. Awesome.
Let me just check, make sure I got all this. I don't have a full presentation this time, like last time.
That's okay.
Answering questions, but I can put the plans up on the screen so that we can all see them.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, if you need to plug in HDMI.
Oh,
yeah, you have to use theirs,
Oh,
and
here.
it's like teeny,
okay,
it's,
there we go.
If you would like this chair to set your laptop on, you're welcome to.
Can trade you for my little one. I think I bought it last time we were here.
I know, it's ridiculous. And the stand that it's on, the metal plate covers where the HDMI goes in. So the whole thing needs to be taken apart, and I'm gonna do it one of these days,
Right.
just to avoid this.
When you have all that extra time.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm gonna put a 25-foot HDMI cable in there.
Just wondered where the mouse.
I just
Oh,
saw
I
it.
found Here we go. There you go. Oh, there we go. Is that you?
I can look at that.
No,
one.
that's not me.
Oh, you, oh, I didn't realize
Yes,
there were multiple
yeah,
copies.
I did,
Okay.
I did ride my bike up Mount Washington.
Right, so it looks like it's much bigger there than,
It's like off the screen a little bit.
yeah.
Let me try this for a second. And resize it. And if it doesn't work, we can just talk. All right.
Oh, my heavens. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
I guess I'll just leave that on the screen so that we all have something to.
All right, to
Okay, let's
reference,
talk
yep,
about
and we need to officially reopen the meeting. Or the hearing, I should say, not the meeting.
What's that? Oh, no, I'm just standing over here because you have to open it.
Oh, no,
so-
no,
Oh.
please sit down. Please, come to the table and we'll, so, we are, reopening the continued hearing for, the Wheeler Pond Dam removal. The notice of intent was originally, filed in May of 2025. Feels like it was so much longer ago than that.
I feel like it was yesterday.
Sarah.
Yes, okay, so introductions. I'm Sarah Whiting. I work for the company Interfluve. I'm the consultant doing the designs for the project. I'm here with Heather Conkerton from ORS, the Three Rivers, the Watershed Association for the Aspet, Sudbury, and Concord. And they're the sponsors of the project.
To the project managers.
The project managers. And we are working together on behalf of the dam owner, Robin Bonazzoli, of the Bonazzoli Family Trust, who own the dam. The dam is falling apart. It's in bad shape. There's some sinkholes around the outlet structure. And Mass DCR, Office of Dam Safety, would really love for it to come down as soon as possible. And that's what we're working towards.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
Patrick Garner peer reviewed your filing and is here to answer any questions as well.
Yes. And so what I'd like to say is that it's really, dam removal projects are complicated, and having a peer reviewer working on your behalf to make sure that we tailor the projects to your community's needs is really important and it's valuable, and the questions are great and they make a better project. So I think that hopefully we've answered them all sufficiently, and we can keep advancing, and if there are any questions that come up tonight that still need to be addressed, then we'll just continue to work through them. The reason why, to me, it feels like it hasn't been that long is because since June, we've been working on permit applications to the DEP 401 water quality certification, the U.S. Army Corps 404 dredge permitting, and we're still working through Chapter 91 potential dredge permitting, and hopefully not a license for fill. So there's still other things like up in the air that are related to our resource areas. So that's what we've been doing. And
That's
so-
all?
And some of these things, they dovetail together. We haven't had any feedback that conflicts with anything we've presented to you so far. But if any of the agencies came back with a question or a request for us that would be in conflict with something that's already promised on these documents, then we would come back to you, we would tell you, and then we'd work it out. One of the things about this plan package is, Pat mentioned that we hadn't submitted a stamp plan set. This is a new stamp plan set. It has a couple extra features in it, based on the suggestions and recommendations. Notably, in the notes, we have put a request or a requirement that when the project goes to construction, as long as it's in the project documentation and it ends up in the contract with the contractor, that's how you sort of like make sure that conditions follow through every step of the way. One of the conditions we're adding in there is that there would be qualified staff doing construction oversight during the course of the project, and so that ends up falling on the project proponents to raise the money to make sure that that you hire a contractor, but you also hire qualified oversight to address things that come up in the actual construction project.
Right, and I know that was the contractor and the person overseeing, monitoring the construction were Pat's comments, or some of Pat's comments. Who's gonna decide they're qualified?
Well, that's a good question. That's a question for, actually, that is a question that'll come onto your desk.
That would be part of what I'd be asking my already qualified person, Sarah, about, such as the engineer. Because we'll have to come up with a set of what we're looking at for qualifications. And the good thing about, we already have 3 dam projects that we're working on, and we have, as a dam removal practitioner, I have a whole cadre of people that I can ask about this.
Okay.
So the great thing is DER's a partner, Dam Busters, I don't know if you've heard about Dam Busters, but there's a whole series that we're doing. Like, I'm so well connected to that community, and we have specific working groups for these reasons, so.
Great.
That is actually one of the questions I'll be putting to them.
Okay.
Because, this is all stuff that we're just kind of wading through as we move forward, because these dam removals are ramping up.
Sure.
So I will have an answer for you, I just don't have it
Okay,
right this second.
that's great. And then I just want to make sure Patrick's looped in that selection process as well.
Yeah, and one of my recommendations to you guys was that you put a special condition in the approval, if you end up approving it, that gives you the right to review the qualifications before the work actually begins.
Yes.
No doubt they'll come up with something, and ideally Sarah will remain hands-on and have her boots on when the critical moments are occurring. But you still need to sort of keep a handle on what's being proposed and
Sure.
who they're going to put out there. Because my concern is, and I've been involved in a number of these, that there's a critical window when they take the dam out and they're struggling to get their, elevations correct, and all of that's happening. If we suddenly have the remnants of a hurricane come blowing in,
Right.
Or, you know, it's a very narrow window, it's a short time frame, but it's really important that someone who knows how to sort of anticipate and recommend
mitigate.
things on,
Yep.
on, you know, in real time, be there to do that. And so that's my concern. And once that window's passed, the rest of it's just routine. It's just,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it goes along very
And,
smoothly.
and we see that in even just regular construction projects. There's that window
Yeah.
of when the soil's open and
But
things are
this-
still
this is far
happening.
bigger than anything you've seen.
Sure, yeah.
This really
Which is why you're here.
Well, Patrick, how wide is that? What would you estimate the window is?
Couple weeks. Couple weeks.
Right.
And Sarah, if you disagree, let me know, but
Oh, no, I think that, it goes faster than you
yeah,
think.
yeah, it could actually be a couple days.
It
but,
could be, if
you
the
know,
weather's good and.
They're always unknowns.
The water's low.
you know,
Right, well, that's the thing, so you'll try to time that with kind of dry weather? I mean, as much as possible, I know it's not,
As much as we can, and I think,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to, because, one of the conditions that the Natural Heritage has put in there, and actually, it's not Natural Heritage, but it's Fish and Wildlife has said, please don't draw down the impoundment after the turtles have gone into hibernation. So we would wanna have it drawn down and constructed before, like, mid-September.
Right.
So that would be the best time of year. That condition right there, I think, is gonna make it.
right.
Draw
And you're
it to
kind of
nice
at the
weather.
end of summer, before rainy fall, so ideally, sure.
That's ideally too when groundwater's down as low as it's gonna be, so you don't have groundwater contact with the pond. And that's the traditional
Right,
sort of dry 6 weeks.
right,
Yeah.
awesome.
One of the other things I would just say though is when we do the public bidding process, like when DER is the project proponent for these, you know, sometimes the state has requirements where they have to take the lowest bidder. Some of the words we put in there are lowest qualified bidder, and so if
Nice.
we find out that we get unqualified bids, we can discard them.
Yeah, I did see that somewhere. That was either in Patrick's comments or your comments, but I did see that word there and,
That tag right there gives us the
A lot more freedom.
flexibility.
And there's some very qualified people, construction, people out there.
There's
awesome.
There are some really good ones.
There's
Yeah.
some really, really good ones
Sure.
that, yeah.
That's excellent, let's get one of those.
Right.
Like to move on, we had also, you requested some extra details for sediment and erosion control. And so there's a new sheet in this plan set as compared to the last sheet. I think it's sheet 12, and then the things after that were shifted back. It's either sheet 12 or sheet 13 that just has details for turbidity curtains, water control, sandbags, you know, not necessarily the construction period straw wattles, but, you know, silt fence and things like that, so we do have details on the set.
Right,
now.
so it's actually page 11 is the fabric installation.
13 is erosion and sediment.
Yeah, 12 is channel treatments and 13 is erosion and sediment controls, yeah.
Yep.
Is Pleasant Street gonna be closed for this?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. We don't plan on closing it, but actually, here's a question for you, because I understand Whitney Street is closed now.
Whitney
I saw
Street's
that.
closed and South Street is closed.
Right, so it's gonna be
Whitney
more.
Street closes on the 9th.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not quite closed
Not
yet.
quite.
Whitney, that goes into Northborough,
It
back
does.
by the post office?
Yep.
When,
It-
do we know when South Street is gonna open? I thought it was gonna be like a year ago.
They just
Feels like
keep,
5 years.
I
it
was gonna say,
feels
how long
like,
has it been?
yeah,
been
it's
a
been a
while.
long time. The state just keeps pushing back.
Really, so it's
Yeah.
the state.
Yes,
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw the Whitney Street one though the other
Yeah.
day, and I was like, really? Both of those roads?
I know. It's gonna, so.
The
it's-
South Street, what are they pushing? I'm just curious, what are they pushing?
To the best of my knowledge, it has to do with grant money,
Yeah.
like,
Small bridge grant
Yep.
money, I think. I actually assessed those culverts. We went, cause I've assessed most of the culverts, and the culvert that you showed, I'm pretty sure I assessed.
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
the one that we showed
Yes.
earlier on Allen Road?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
sure I've
that
assessed
has
that one.
been, bettered.
But the ones on South Street, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about the money part.
Yep.
I think
So
it increased in cost too, didn't it?
there was an increase in cost, so then there was an increase in the request,
Right.
which, yeah, I don't know exactly all the details about why it keeps getting pushed, but I know it has to do with the grant money and the cost of the project.
Costs keep escalating.
Yep, yeah, exactly, so just fund it now, so we don't have to pay more later.
So we need to know whether we should and when close Pleasant Street?
I don't expect and I don't anticipate that we need to close it at all, because.
Right, cause
when the
you
trucks
do
are
have a
coming in
site,
now-
an area on the property where you're staging,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And the specifications, one of them, which is not in the package yet, is traffic control plan. Which I don't know if it falls in the I mean, we can put anything in this package if you want it, but, we will have a traffic control specification, which will require the appropriate coordination with, like Fred and DPW.
And the PD, Berlin
Yes.
PD, yeah.
Yeah, and safety.
Yep.
Right, because if those two roads are closed, Pleasant Street is gonna be getting a lot more traffic.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
so that's part of it.
Yeah, so as we work through things, we'll get in touch with the appropriate people, but, the more we can do to not close Pleasant Street, the better.
Okay.
All right, what else do we have?
I know, I'm not necessarily
So-
going in order, but they all kind of dovetailed together. One of the other big topics was invasive species, and and the other big topic was water control. So I think those are two things we can talk about.
Right,
that have a
just
couple
one more, so, so Patrick had, brought up the turbidity and erosion releases. You said there's information in here about additional, curtains. What about the monitoring and checking and cleaning out of those? Is that all addressed?
That could be, and here's a request for you, is when the contractor begins work, or before they begin work, they'll have to put together their SWIP under the NIPD's construction general permit,
Mhm.
and they'll have to file for their ENOI. And what we like to do is make them responsible for that planning, so they have skin in the game, obviously, because they're in control of the stuff. What we might request, and what we've done in a lot of other towns, is if you request that we submit their SWIP to you for review and approval before they're allowed to mobilize, if that works for you, I think that functions in a project setting.
Yeah.
That makes
I would
sense,
agree,
yes. So
What does that
And that could
stand
just
for?
be added as a special condition.
SWIP is stormwater,
Pollution prevention plan. And the components of a SWIP, it's pretty big if you print the whole thing. But it includes the contact information for the people who are responsible for the site, 24 hours. It includes the personnel who've been trained, who are on the site every day. They have to inspect it every day or every week or after certain rainstorms. They have to record their inspections and document them. And then if they see something amiss, then they have to fix them and document that.
right. We would also probably request weekly, bi-weekly copies of those inspection reports. We
Which is
definitely,
completely conventional.
as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, we got those when they built River Bridge, the
Mhm.
apartments, we definitely got copies of the reports, I believe it was weekly.
And our standard for construction administration is we have weekly construction meetings. And whenever we're on site doing observations, we have our observation logs. We collate all those reports together. So they are available every week. But those would be oversight reports, and then you'd have contractor reports too.
Right, right, yeah, I mean, if it makes sense for you to put all that together and just email it weekly, I mean, it's just,
Just to have it.
exactly,
Like weekly
just
communication.
digitally and, exactly. so we can know that things are being done the way they're supposed to be done, and if there's any questions, maybe catch something sooner than not.
Right, and we should put that in the contract for oversight. That'd be an extra task to do.
And then for the environmental monitoring afterwards, so it's twice a year then, is that the way I understand? From Yes,
Oh, so, and Patrick's recommendation.
and that's Patrick's.
Typically, if you wanna do it twice a year, you could do it in the spring and the fall.
Yeah, I would do spring and fall for at least 3 years.
Mhm.
And that's something you would Patrick, is that, well, or is that
Not
undetermined yet?
necessarily, I mean, I'd be happy to do it, but I'm not eager.
I told you you can't retire, so it doesn't matter.
I've retired my boots, but I'm still here. But yeah, I mean, that's a quick couple-hour event by somebody, typically a wetland scientist, who's assessing the plant survivability, and there's a 75% requirement for robust growth. And they would do that, photo document it, and send you a report.
Right.
And you've seen those from me on different projects.
Right, a typical monitoring plan can be, photo points, we can have photo points before and after, and then photo
Yeah.
points, at
Exactly.
Right.
every time we're out.
Yep.
If, we could also add, you put down the ring and look at which plants are inside and what the ground coverage is, and if it doesn't meet, then, the 75%, we can do that too.
Yeah.
But that would be part of the monitoring plan, post-project monitoring.
Awesome.
Um,
Okay.
So one of the issues I raised that we ought to talk about, and I was telling Sarah, I don't know whether you guys have a preference or not, but we went back and forth on invasives elimination, and we've got 2 types of invasives out there, basically, common reed and Japanese knotweed. And the common reed is very easily sort of eliminated. The knotweed, of course, as you know, is
The
it's
devil.
everybody's nightmare. So some commissions are
Common.
adamant about not using chemicals. Other commissions want to just get rid of it the best way possible. And so the commissions that are opposed to chemicals, want mechanical excavation, that kind of thing, down to the root system. I don't have a preference. I've seen it work both ways. I don't really have an agenda on that. I know Japanese knotweed is difficult, and it takes multi-year treatment typically.
Right.
So I've told Sarah basically, I want to throw it back to you guys, and if you don't have a specific, sort of hard and fast policy that you've been using, it's probably appropriate to dump it on the contractor with a condition that it be eliminated, and, that becomes the criteria, that it be effectively eliminated, and the methodology is not as important as the end product, the end elimination. But if you do, then, it ought to be kicked around and talked about.
Right. Well, there are 2 past members who fiercely feel very different, completely different, opposite ends of using chemicals and not. Does anybody have?
It's not ideal, but.
Right. So I think.
Like your proposal of just
Yeah.
get it done.
Right. Right.
I mean, basically, we're talking glyphosate or Roundup to
Right.
work on it. And some people are convinced it causes all kinds of, hormonal challenges, and other people are like,
Right. My biggest concern would be it getting into the waterway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would like to see kind of a 2-prong approach, do as much as you can mechanically. And then in stubborn areas, use chemicals, because ultimately we do just want it gone.
Yeah.
But I would like to see mechanical tried first.
Agreed.
And it also sounds like, based off of the recommendation, that the excavation might take less time because the chemical needs constant reapplication.
Right.
I would respectfully disagree with you.
Okay, I was just reading.
The mechanical works, but the problem with knotweed is that you could leave a trace of roots
Yeah.
Right.
and it'll regerminate the next year. It's
Okay.
crazy. So whichever method you use, it just requires returning to the
Okay.
location and
Right.
monitoring it.
Good
Yep.
to know.
And, you know, using different methods over time too, the water situation is gonna change, you know, over the years. What was pond is gonna de-water and dry out, and the conditions might, you know, might
Right,
solve the
and
problem by
maybe
themselves.
we decide, you know, so many feet from the water, whatever that distance, you know, whatever the likelihood of the chemicals getting into the water, if that's 5 feet, if that's 7 feet, if that's 20 feet, whatever. And so that as the water line moves, that line also moves.
That would
Well,
make
Sarah,
them-
Sarah, when would you anticipate, I mean, the dam structure is gonna come out, that's the biggie. At what point does the contractor begin trying to remove the invasives? After all the major work has been done? Is that like a tertiary or a end thing, or does that take place simultaneously? What would you envision?
I think I'd handle it differently for the Japanese knotweed and for the common reed, because if you've got your heavy equipment mucking around and
Right.
fragments of Japanese knotweed,
Yeah.
then you've just made your problem a lot more difficult.
Right.
So I would probably suggest cordoning off the Japanese knotweed and keeping them away from that during the
Okay.
construction period, and then having them deal with that afterwards, so that they're not.
I would agree, because what I was thinking was that once the dam comes out and the water level, it drops.
Right,
You're going to be quite a distance from the stream
right.
channel.
Yeah, and the area where the knotweed is, it's along the driveway on the Northborough side, and that is gonna be much drier, so I
Yeah.
don't think that they won't have to put the heavy equipment there
Yep.
at risk to.
Right, and so is there a distance, if you were to pick a number? I'm looking at Patrick for this one.
I'm not gonna be able to give you a qualified answer either. I mean, we're dealing with the DEP approved code. So they don't have your conservative concern.
Sure.
I think if it's done post-construction, we're probably looking at 50 feet anyway as a
Okay.
minimum in terms of a distance to
Right,
the
so-
active channel.
Right, so if we even picked a number of 20 or 25 feet,
Make it 25 feet. The key is gonna be that shifts the burden to maybe you or Julie or somebody on the commission, but this is gonna have to be incorporated in your special conditions.
right,
So it's spelled out,
yep,
you know, how you want it procedurally handled.
right, right.
But-
And that
Right,
twice.
so no chemicals within 25 feet
Yeah.
of the active
Okay.
water channel.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then
Or
that's part of
standing
the
water.
monitoring. And that'll be part of the monitoring report as well, to see how well that's worked. Oh, is that a
Uh,
fair question, or over the 3 years post-construction?
That wouldn't be the environmental monitor as much as it would be the on-site
Monitor.
monitor working to supervise the
Okay.
elimination of the species.
Right, that would be during the construction
Yeah.
period, during the construction oversight, but then the follow-up year after year would be, could be the contractor. But one of the memos that is attached there is an invasive species management and monitoring plan. So that spells out sort of our plan for instructing them how to go about doing.
Are you guys good with that number? Do you want to change that number?
No, it seems reasonable.
Lexi?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to take all this and read it and digest it and all of that. Oh, is there garlic mustard down there too?
There is a little bit in the staging area.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I've watched it spread through town in the past 10 years or so.
Yeah.
What about bittersweet?
There's bittersweet. Most of the trees by the road there are dead and tangled in bittersweet. I expected quite a few of them to fall. They've been falling year after
Yeah.
year.
Um,
Yeah, it's a mess. It's really
Yeah. Are there plans to remove the dead trees?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do have to clear that area.
Yep.
That will be the staging laydown area.
Right. And so the bittersweet
Will come down
also,
with that.
right. And that's not in the fall.
Before the berries.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So that's the Japanese knotweed. All right, the plant list. Is that in here somewhere?
Yes, I think on the plan set, sheet 15 has the full view of the impoundment and the proposed planting list.
Ooh.
I know. I can give you the printer. I will be happy to provide you with an electronic copy or a larger copy.
Yeah, electronic copy at least.
Bring out the magnifying glass.
Yeah, right, I'm like.
I'm
take-
starting to really appreciate
Large print,
font.
I know.
Right? Oh my gosh, definitely.
Control plus control.
All right, let's see.
Our typical our idea for planting there, I think we have container shrubs, live stakes along the banks, and seed, the wetland seed mix, upland seed mix from the New England wetland plans.
There's another component too that Sarah and I haven't really talked about, but typically when there's a dam removal, the substrate has a lot of sort of dormant seed stock,
Sure.
and that all begins to emerge quickly when it's no longer in the water.
Right.
So usually by the second year, that's really beginning to come through heavily, and that adds a component to the planting that the contractor does.
Sure, and the planting for something like this, like how much dewatering happens before the planting actually happens?
Usually, the planting's the last step.
Right,
So
okay.
the channel will be stabilized first. It'll probably be a few weeks after the dam has come down, so it'll be I don't know if you've ever, I'm always surprised in a way, after you dewater the impoundment, the mud is really soft for several weeks.
Yep.
And it's really important, actually it's really important to keep people off of it. I've been stuck in it before. Don't go walking out on it.
Yeah.
It takes a few weeks before I feel comfortable walking on it without, a pole and sticks
And
and
a
things
safety
like that.
rope.
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously. So we won't do the plantings until it's stable enough for people to be walking on.
Sure.
Any place that we put the fabric in, which we will construct the banks with a fabric surface on top.
Okay.
That is walkable, that's safe. We put seed under the fabric, and then we do plant through the fabric. But any of the seeding outside of that fabric will be done last.
Okay.
We do have a beaver in there, so we're going to call for protection on the baby stuff in there, because they will come after it really fast.
They're like, buffet.
Yeah.
Thanks for ringing the dinner bell.
Right? Oh, man, yeah. So the beaver lodge that's shown on page 15, that is currently out of the water?
It's on the edge.
Okay,
It's not out of the water, but it's on the edge.
okay. Oh, yeah, in this picture, it shows it out of the water, in this picture, it shows it in the water, on the edge.
Oh, right, because under the proposed condition, the water will go down a little bit.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And they'll probably
They'll just move over.
fix that.
Yep,
gonna say, they'll just
exactly. They'll
Migrate
just
over.
put an addition on.
Yeah,
Little tunnel to the next house.
Yeah, exactly.
they're pretty adaptable.
Yep. And industrious.
Yes, very.
Yes. All right. Let's see, what else do we have here? That's that. So that's the plantings. Yeah. So the poor fish, the frogs, the salamanders, the muskrats. So Pat's comment is, as noted on page 1, there are no endangered species or priority habitats on or near the site. That said, ponds provide habitat for numerous water-dependent species, including fish, turtles, frogs, salamanders, muskrats, water snakes. None of these pond species typically live in stream channels. When the impoundment is drawn down, these animals are exposed and unless removed by hand will unnecessarily die. So I know, right? I tried to say that as softly as I could. Right. So.
My original report had actually used the word extirpate.
Yeah.
I was told by somebody in my staff not to do that.
Oh, really?
Just be direct and say what's gonna happen. Okay, we're gonna die.
And your recommendation was to make sure we have a biologist on site to relocate if
Yeah.
they're.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways that can happen.
Well, I'm used to seeing literally 5 or 6 biologists come out with buckets and spend a couple days walking through the site looking for turtles emerging from the mud and fish, flopping in the flats. And
Yep.
it's amazing how many of these animals you can save. You'll lose them all if you don't make that effort, though, and
Right.
then they get relocated. So,
And where do they get relocated?
well, that is.
Well, recent experience, last month we did a dam removal out in Western Mass, and Fish and Wildlife came out, they made it a condition to participate with us.
Oh, cool.
And we notified them and they came out and they moved the brook trout.
Oh, that's great.
And they did that just because.
Okay. Okay.
We've already done, I actually work with Mass Wildlife, and we've already done surveys
Okay.
around Wheeler Pond and the Northbrook, so we already know where some of the brook trout are. I'm actually a trained conservation biologist, and as a fisheries technician, I actually moved animals.
Awesome.
So I'm like, I was telling her when I got here, I'm like, I'm ready to do it. I'm like ready to go collect things.
We'll come help.
Oh, yeah. And actually, it could be, as long as I think Mass Wildlife's okay with that, it could be a great volunteer
Sure.
community engagement component.
I totally agree. It's usually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's a feel-good thing, and it's
Come help us move things.
I would
so.
love to do that.
That would be a really good outreach component. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I think if that's the way that you want to go, I think that the best way to make sure that happens is through the construction process is to write a condition that says that, notice prior to dewatering, so many weeks so that you have time to organize, because otherwise the contractor, once they get going, they're just going to want to run.
Oh
with
my
it.
gosh, they're right
Yeah.
there.
So
Yes.
put in the condition that says you need to notify us so many weeks ahead of time.
Okay.
2 or 3 or.
Yeah.
I totally agree, yeah. So it's just another condition.
Yep. Yep.
So is there a recipient locally here that they can, our Berlin trout can stay here if that's the case, or the turtles? I mean, how do you assess where they might?
How do we decide where they should go? We should
Not-
we should talk to Fish and Wildlife, right?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
we should
Yeah, that
ask
would be
them.
the logical
I actually
thing,
would
yeah.
just contact Adam Kautza, who I did the trout brook trout surveys with, and I talked to the mussel guy. I've done surveys with him, so I would probably just contact all of them and say, okay, we need an opinion. Can you come out and chat with us about that? So I can
Good.
set up a meeting to do that, because
Yeah.
I really like this idea of that being an outreach component.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't I. Especially if it means we get to help.
I know.
But yes, I think it is a great way for people to get involved if they want to. Because I could tell you, oh, there's a pond over here and there's a pond over there, but I'm not qualified to decide that species should go into that pond. So,
I think we should get that guidance from Fish and Wildlife, because maybe there could be diseases they're tracking or something like
yeah,
that. We don't
absolutely.
wanna mix.
Well, that's true, especially with
Yep.
amphibians, because I know they're very sensitive to that.
Yep.
I have to decontaminate equipment when I go from waterway to waterway.
Sure.
For that reason.
Yeah.
And your shoes.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, when I say equipment, my standard equipment is waders.
Yep.
This is my car, are you longs? That's standard equipment for me.
Yep.
Oh, that's a
Awesome.
bad idea. The engineers don't think of things like that.
Oh, having people, I've done it on other projects, so I love the idea of moving stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's that. All right, so now here's the part that gets a little bit more technical. Although not emphasized in the NOI, the upgradient reach of North Brook may be subject to head cutting. Head cutting is a specific type of channel erosion where a stream actively erodes and deepens its bed upstream, in a stepped fashion. And he goes on to explain that a little bit more. Says Interfluve has partially addressed this possibility by providing access to the upper stream channel via Crosby Road, at which access point the existing channel should be anchored/stabilized with large stones or boulders to prevent further alteration of the upper channel. And the recommendation is that we include a special condition requiring plans prior to notification and approval before head cutting related work occurs. At this date, the NOI lacks sufficient detail regarding head cutting procedures within the stream channel.
Yeah, so let me interject if I may, sir. This may or may not occur.
Okay.
It's likely to occur to some degree, but what the contractor's gonna do is chase the elevation change. Does everybody know what we're talking about? The stream is coming in at this elevation, but then it hits the dam, and below the dam is 6-8 feet below. So there's gonna be an attempt to match that slope change by going up gradient and resloping the stream channel. And if that works out ideally, there's not gonna be any change once the contractor walks off, and it's gonna all work nicely. But streams like to work their way upstream and sort of even things out. And you see it over and over and over in situations like this. So if that occurs, Interfluve has already thought ahead and said, we're gonna set aside an area to take care of it, to sort of stop that upward erosion from continuing to work its way up North Brook. But there's no real detail in the NOI. So my concern has been, okay, so what are you gonna do? And we don't really know. So you guys, I don't think should just condition, say, okay, go out there when it occurs and do whatever you have to do. You wanna know because they're working in an active stream, and I think that's okay because we don't really know, one, whether it's going to occur, and two, how severe it's going to be, and three, how far up the stream has worked its way. So, that's all something that typically Interfluve or the contractor would assess as this was occurring. And it might be something that the environmental monitor would be tasked with measuring as well.
So would you recommend the special condition be something of the sort, if this happens?
Well,
so how would you recommend it's worded?
yeah, well, there needs to be an active assessment of whether it's happening or not. And I think I would lean on Interfluve to sort of come up with the measurement criteria to make that judgment. And that if it's deemed that it's occurring, then before work could occur to stop further gradient slope change, that
A report
amendment to
or?
the notice be filed with you, or a new notice, either would work. It would be an insubstantial change to the existing order of conditions.
Right.
So they'd have the ability to come in and simply give you new documentation. But my biggest concern is that somebody doesn't suddenly go out there with a backhoe and a truck and begin doing work,
Right.
Begin dumping rock in the river.
I know you wouldn't do that, but we've all seen it occur.
I mean, this is where we're putting together the conditions for the contract documents. Like, this is the good stuff here that
Yeah.
moves forward and keeps everything in the rails.
Exactly.
What we've requested, actually, I'll go point to it on the screen. I'll show you what we have and try to describe what we don't have. But here's Pleasant Street and the dam's down here.
Yep.
And here's Crosby Road and there's the little culvert and bridge right there. And so if the channel starts to chew its way up, we're gonna pre-chew the channel up to here, and then we think we're gonna hit where it wants to be, in the long term. So we're gonna stop excavating there. We wanna leave the beaver dam, we wanna leave the beaver alone. But if it does chew its way up to here, we've put in our plans potential to access the channel from Crosby Road. This is Robin Bonazzoli's land. And then we've put in the channel a marker of the footprint where we think the rock would have to go. And the way that would get constructed if we had to do it would be, we'd see the material leaving. We wouldn't be adding material to the channel per se as replacing the soft material that has departed with harder material that will stay in place. And that material will be, typically when we do this, it's rounded stone. It's rounded stone graded to look like stream bed material. It's not riprap with voids in it. It's filled in and it looks like stream bed material. And it would just be sloped to bridge the gap between whatever elevation this is chewed up to. There's a nice rock pool and a rock, it may be a remnants of a stone wall. It may have been grade controlled downstream of the culvert. But there is like a rock pool just downstream of the culvert. And so we would make sure that fish would always be able to go from the low point in the eaten up channel to that pool. And so that's how it would be sloped. That's our plan for it. There's not much on paper here describing that at the moment.
So if it does chew up all the way to Crosby Road, how long do you think that would take to happen? Is it like days, months, years?
Well, it depends on the order of the rain that happens.
Okay,
And
sure.
it could happen right away. It could, I don't think it'll happen right away, but I mean, if it's all mud, it could happen right away. But we've found a lot of gravel and cobble in there, so we think it's gonna hit nice stream bed material.
Okay.
And that's what's gonna be on the surface. But if we had a really big storm with some violent flow, it could happen right away. But if we have years of vegetation stabilizing everything, it may never happen. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, you have to be down on the ground to do this.
In a profile view, this dashed line is where the existing channel is, or where the existing bed of the channel is. Crosby Road's right here, and we're working downstream. This dashed dot line is the bottom of the mud. We went out and we probed to the bottom of the mud. And then there's this faint gray line that shows what the average slope between Pleasant Street and Crosby Road would be. And so if the channel found its constant slope, which is what it's going to be sort of aiming for, and that's the slope that it's going to find. And we would only put material below the existing grade, because one of the consequences of this is we don't want to fill a channel. There's a floodplain and a floodway right there. Adding material, adding fill to a water body, has the potential to increase flood levels, but this would be replacing material that had left the system, not adding additional.
So that slope doesn't look significant. Is that kind of typical in these situations, or?
Yeah, this particular reach of North Brook has a really shallow slope. It's,
Okay.
it's 0.4%.
Yeah.
It's like a really gradual.
Okay.
Which is why a pond was put there, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And you'll see the same thing between Crosby Road and South Street. It's sort of the same thing happening between all those bridges along North Brook. But that would just give the trout and other species enough depth and substrate and a low enough velocity and enough depth so they could migrate up past it. So.
And I will say, I went out in the field at this location and walked down into the area, and I I think it's very appropriate for that kind of a use. There are other areas that wouldn't be, but it's easy access off Crosby, and as Sarah says, there's sort of already a natural pooling area that's got some boulders and cobbles in it, and
Okay.
seems to be a hard surface bottom. Probably would work. I'd be frankly professionally surprised if it worked its way that far up.
I do too, but
But
I'm in charge of safety, so.
yeah, there are too many of these where I've looked, 2 years later and gone, I'll be damned.
So the kind of area that, I don't know how to phrase what I want, but, so from Pleasant Street up, there's an area of excavation that's gonna stop.
Right.
And then from there to this,
Yep.
so that's the area that's kind of
Yeah.
in danger
Exactly.
of,
Of adjustment,
of-
uncontrolled adjustment.
okay.
But there's still gravel and cobble and bedrock between where the channel's gonna stop to where you think the head cut would be. Right, so there is stuff to slow it down.
Yeah.
Right. So once, theoretically, all of that, the small dashed line and the large dashed line, that's basically all mud.
Mm-hmm.
So once that washes out, you've got a new stream bottom,
Right.
and
And it can surprise you.
yeah.
There's a lot-
Nature has a way of doing that,
It does.
good and bad.
Is there anything here, near Pleasant Street to prevent the beavers from damming it up and creating an impoundment again?
No.
Should there be?
Well,
You mean like grates or something?
Well, yeah,
along
like I'm
the-
trying to, I've seen it before where I forget what it looked like, but there was some sort of,
Beaver deceiver?
something like that,
Yeah,
where it
it-
kind of prevents them from damming it up near
That
the
would be a
culvert.
Pretty big culvert though for them to, I'm not an
I
expert on
agree.
beavers, but that's a pretty big
That's a monster culvert
for them
Is
to
this,
try to
okay,
dam out.
I couldn't tell how big this was. right,
And I don't
for the- from the
think
screen.
that it's gonna be that narrow, right? The
Okay.
channel's not gonna be that narrow. I mean, I'm not saying that they couldn't
Okay.
because
Oh,
nature
the
surprises
beavers,
me.
Yeah.
beavers will come in across 20, 25 feet.
Oh, well, that's what I'm thinking is,
Yeah,
just,
but This is a pretty wide
okay,
stretch here, yeah.
Both Crosby and Pleasant, those are really big culverts, so
Okay.
I'm not saying it's utterly impossible, 'cause
okay.
But there's
I think it's
easier
unlikely.
places for them to build dams, really.
along the restructured stream, do you think?
I think that the restructured stream is gonna be it's gonna be deeper than what they're used to, so they'll have more of a bank to contend with, but, I'm not sure that it would necessarily be a problem.
Okay.
I mean, the problem that I could foresee would be debris at the bridge.
Okay.
But that's gonna,
I don't know. That kind of happens either way. I mean, I think it's still happening now without, like, having a beaver or, den right there. I've seen debris down by the bridge. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily coming from that or just trees falling into the water, who knows?
Right.
But I can't imagine that, I think if it's gonna be deeper, they may not be attractive to them to, and water can still get through it and under it and all that, so I mean, I guess, is that something we need to monitor? I mean, I don't suspect anything, but I'll defer to you on that one.
I'm sitting here thinking, listening to this discussion, a couple weeks ago, I was out in Framingham observing for the commission a river called, believe it or not, Beaver Brook. And it's gotta be 25, 30 feet wide, and it's deep. I mean, you don't wanna wade through it, it's gotta be waist deep anyway. And here's this massive beaver dam all the way across it, just right according to the name.
Right.
And it looked like it was probably 30 years old. It was a monster. So beavers, and they may have taken advantage of a fallen tree or something.
Right.
But it's very difficult to anticipate, to adequately really control it. It's,
Right.
I guess that would just kind of go with whatever, every commission's different on their policies on beavers. A lot of people are hands-off some people trap them, which means you have to kill them, you have to euthanize them.
Right.
So I think it just kind of depends on what you are.
Yeah, I mean, I think we prefer beaver deceivers to any of, should it be necessary? I mean, you'd hate to do all of this work and have the beavers build the dam and back it all up again, right?
Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't that be, wouldn't
permits.
that be, right?
Did you get permits?
So,
Well, you know what, if that occurred, you could always call in a specialist who could put in a culvert underneath or through it and deal with it. I mean, that's how you,
I mean, the highway department's put in a couple for us.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
culvert
I do a
under
lot
the-
of work in the town of,
They've put in beaver deceivers.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you said a culvert underneath the.
well, and essentially the deceivers are long pipes. They're culverts.
right, they're
Okay.
long pipes underground with a stack
Yeah,
at
sand pipe.
water
Oh
level.
yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like a regular culvert. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty interesting.
I would like to see some sort of acknowledgement that something may need to be done like that. Just, where beavers are known to be there, they're certainly in town. Just to give the option to be able to do something. Like I said, it would be such a waste to have the beavers come in and undo all your good work.
Yeah, well, in terms of, bringing it back to the project, so the project is to remove a man-made dam, remove the liability and the safety hazard with that. I don't think that private landowners are responsible for a beaver dam on their property.
They're responsible if they flood public waterways.
So if it
Public
backs up the
roads.
water.
So like if it backed up, it would have to back up quite a bit to flood Crosby Road. But, if it winds up being a problem in a public way, it definitely becomes, and that's what was happening. It was the last one we dealt with, it was flooding the road. And then that was going down to the golf course down the street and flooding the 7th green or something, like every storm, and it was a lot.
Okay, so, in terms of putting a provision in the plans for addressing beaver, it wouldn't be during construction, it would be during the post-project monitoring period, so it would go
correct.
into monitoring.
Yeah, I
Yep.
was gonna say, I think that could be another component of the environmental monitoring.
Mhm.
Yep.
That and adequately checking the progress of the stream in terms of head cutting and invasive control and quality of the replanted, restored ones that are gonna be planted.
Right.
Those are all sort of the key components, I think, of monitoring. And that'll take place over that 3-year period, if that's what you require the monitoring to be 3.
Right.
Some commissions require 5 today. But once that's over, the observations will end.
Sure.
And the beavers could come in and say, hello.
Yep, they very well could.
Yeah.
But at that point, the banks will be more stable, they'll be
Yes.
able to, deal with anything that the beavers might do. If, in 6 months, while everything's still getting established, that's more my concern, is,
And I would think too that, and I could be wrong, but I would guess that if beavers were gonna take advantage of this wonderful new waterway, they do so in that first couple of years.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have mixed feelings, like, I love it when the animals vote yes.
Yeah.
But
Not during my
we're
project.
animals,
Right.
we're animals too, we vote no.
Can you wait 3 years?
Can you just wait till it's stable, guys?
Yeah,
We'll
right.
have a chat.
Give it a few more
Yeah,
years.
there you go, yeah,
We'll have a chat.
exactly.
That's a great thing to put in, the post-project monitoring.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. Head cutting. So LUWB is
Or what,
land underwater.
yeah,
What's the B?
body.
Oh, that's where I got the land underwater part. I just couldn't come up with the B.
It's water body.
There you go. Yes. All right. Yeah. So there's.
Yeah, one of the interesting components, and I don't know, Sarah, whether you've said this or not, but these restoration projects are sort of fall into a very special category under the Wetland Protection Act. And DEP's sort of mandate on these is that if you're taking out man-made dams, we don't care what the impacts are to the usual components, BVW and bank, and, you know, whatever occurs, the dam removal trumps the
Right.
usual losses. So you don't have to do a 1-to-1 or a 1.5-to-1 compensation. That all goes out the door. It's wonderful and kumbaya that you're taking out the dam, and, you know,
Right. Exactly.
So-
And
it's difficult for commissions to sort of get a handle on it because we're so used to, you know, you're impacting 225 square feet of BVW. Well, we want you to, you know, rebuild 400 square feet of it.
right.
But that doesn't come into play on this.
Right.
Now, that being said, you know, they've come in with a generous restoration component. And, you know, that needs to also be acknowledged.
All the land will still be protected and under your jurisdiction.
Yep. Yep.
And you gain the riverfront.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
No, it's a win-win.
wonderful.
I think it's
yeah. I'm
it's great.
very excited. So then the last thing was a minimum of 3 years
Yep.
of monitoring. Does anybody feel like it should be more than 3 years?
Yeah, I will just throw out without an opinion. The Corps is beginning to push for 5 years on a lot of its projects, and many commissions are stepping in and asking for 5. But the sort of down the center line still remains 3 years. So I would think 3 years is going to be adequate for this. It's a fairly low-key dam removal, you know, in the scope of dam removals.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like it's probably going to recover fairly well.
Yeah, I do
quickly.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, I have 3 projects going, so I think it's very dam specific too.
Yeah, yeah.
So this
Right.
one, I think, I agree, very, very low key, and it's gonna recover quickly.
Right, like the one in Billerica that we were talking about. That's
That's a monster.
That's also me.
right. But I would imagine that the recovery for that one is going to be more significant.
Just because it's more developed,
Exactly.
so.
The development was hanging over the river, just up to the edge.
So it's just development all around it.
Right.
Yeah, and then like we're actually retaining a piece of the dam, but yes, I mean it's between, you know, those were mill buildings, so.
Right.
Are you talking Talbot Mills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the peer review on that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I know who he is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you get around.
That's why we were talking about something, and we
Yeah.
ended up talking about
Okay.
that dam, and
that's
then
a
that
real
led to
dam.
talking about this. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
This is more like a box culvert, but.
Right.
That's the one that Thoreau wanted to go out and just basically hammer it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, yeah, let's get out there and just
Let's get it.
knock it down.
Get it down.
Yeah, it was when it was first built. It was hugely controversial
Oh, I bet.
because of the farmers. So it's got a whole sordid history.
Whole history. Yes.
But yes, that's one of my projects.
Yeah.
Too. This one is like, I'm like, Sarah, oh my God, knock on wood, this is awesome.
Right.
We have a whole project team for that one.
That one's good for experience.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I know. The hard ones always are, right?
Yeah. Well, I have another
And
one
then-
in Hudson that's gonna wind up being controversial, I think.
Ooh.
But it's right in downtown, and
The one.
if it were to ever break, it's gonna, not the one on the main stem, no. Main
Okay.
Street, which is
Right.
off of, it's on Danforth Brook.
Oh, okay.
But people like their ponds, so.
Yeah.
But if it ever were to break, it's gonna completely flood out downtown. They've already proven that. So.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. So the dam owners are like,
Yep.
all right,
Take
let's
it
do it. But that's a very, very beginning stage, though.
Yeah.
Just like baby steps for that one. That's why
I'm surprised
I love
that,
this project right
that-
now.
I mean,
This is so easy.
yeah.
This is easy.
I mean, none of them are easy.
No, and you guys
Right.
have been amazing to work with, so.
Well, thank
So
you.
appreciative.
Yeah, we're appreciative that I mean, because this has been on our radar for a long time.
Mm.
The whole time I've been on the commission, which I
Oh,
keep
that
saying
long?
is 10 years, but, oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which Robin routinely tells me I've been saying 10 years for about 5 years. so.
Well, if you have any other dams you want to come down, happy to help.
But yeah, so this has been on our radar for a long time. I'm all about restoring that area to a river as opposed to, I'm sure when it was really a pond, it was fabulous, but it's kind of just a stagnant,
It's been silting in more and more every year.
yeah,
But even 5-6 years ago, you'd see people out fishing,
yes,
and it's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
It's just so shallow now.
yeah,
Well, hopefully when the Eastern Brook Trout come back,
right?
you'll see people out there again.
Yes, that'll be
Yeah, yeah.
fabulous.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, because so there's a house upstream, and we were very careful to make sure that they're keeping the trees, they're keeping the cold water stream aspect, because that makes a difference for the trout.
It does.
Was there anything else you wanted to make sure you pointed out to us?
Let me just. There is informational material in there about. There's 2 short little memos. One is informational about head cutting, and the other one is a plan for the geomorphic monitoring. Geomorphic monitoring being
How the land changes?
Yes. It's a menu or a plan for going out and installing.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah,
stations.
there's right
Yes.
there. Yep.
Install geomorphic monitoring stations, and so those would be installed by the contractors, so they'd be in place before they take the dam down, before they start excavating. And then we'd have people go out surveying them on a weekly basis or after rain events to see if the head cutting is happening. And so there is a write-up of a geomorphic monitoring plan in there.
Okay.
During the construction period and then following that. So, there's a
And
little more material.
Those will stay in place through the 3-year monitoring period.
If you wanted to put that in with the environmental monitoring and have it all be one package, whether it's 3 years or 5 years or whatever, just say all of these monitoring sessions, situations extend for.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good thing.
So I think those are the 2 materials that we didn't necessarily talk about. And then also part of what we put together in response to the questions were a few specifications. Specifications end up in the project manual, which becomes the contract with the contractor. And what we put in there are our typical permit section, erosion and sediment control, special conditions, which is where we tell the contractor you have to submit
I
to
saw
the
that.
engineer,
Yep.
all the different plans, the
So-
SWIP and
Julia, we should be familiar with this for sure.
yeah, so that will tell you what we require a contractor to give to us for us to review, and you have the option of saying, we also want to be a party
Correct.
to all that stuff.
Yep.
And we want to approve it before you.
Yep. And we would also like to see X, Y, and Z. Yep.
And if you have anything you want to add to that list, we would add it to that special conditions.
Right.
I mean, would it be
Same kind of
reasonable to
thing.
ask if at 3 years, we would still have the option to extend for 2 more? I mean, is that something we have anyway, or would that have to be delineated? So in other words, if there's a lot going on or not anything going on, we would
Right.
have the ability then to make the decision. I just toss that out there for.
That's a great question. I've never heard anyone suggest that, ever.
Right, because I would imagine it's harder to budget for the
Well, I was
project.
just gonna say,
It would
how would
be.
we even,
Yeah.
well, I'm thinking from the project manager hat, how, when we budget, when we do all this, we're doing it for a certain time period.
Right,
So it would really have to be something that we would know up front, because we would have to, there'd be a gap if we didn't have that funding and had to go back for 2 more years worth of
Right.
funding.
and so what if we said 5 years with the option of it being 3 years if all is going well?
I think that's much more
Going
realistic.
backwards, yeah.
Because I think, quite
I like that.
frankly.
Yeah, it's better to over budget
Yeah.
than
I like
Right,
to
I
have
think within
to.
3 years, you're pretty much gonna know what that site's gonna be doing. I don't know, like, this site, I don't think it's, you know,
I don't
you're
think it's gonna be
5
that-
years.
And no, I do agree, but I understand why you're wanting to.
I think that's a great idea. I like that very
Yeah.
much.
Right.
You know, because that gives both sides sort of a heads up. And you always have the option of doing an enforcement order. You know, God forbid, but
Sure,
if things
but-
just don't go right or
We
the
do enough of
contract.
we do enough of those, exactly.
Well, and maybe they're gonna,
Sometimes being the swamp police isn't very fun.
Swamp police. Actually, I'm from Louisiana, I'm from New Orleans, so I actually call them swamp police.
maybe you could even
That's funny.
have a caveat, the last 2 years, like year 4 and 5, could be an annual report. Maybe that, again, I don't know whether that makes sense, but it might, I don't know, I just, again, throw that out there.
Like a
for-
fall monitor.
No, I feel like we're going through that with Talbot, right? Annual report, something to
Yeah.
that effect?
Yeah.
I'd have to reread through it, but I feel like this sounds familiar.
No, Talbot's
Sounds very
a spring
familiar.
and fall.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-year duration. Yeah.
Okay, so what would say that again?
So I think how do you guys feel about?
Yeah, I think doing 5 years with the understanding that.
That at the 3-year mark,
Yeah,
we could reassess.
You know what I'd say is I say at a 3-year mark upon request of the owner.
Right.
So it's not up to you to just,
To,
let them come in and say, hey. it's
Everything's
going-
great.
going so well,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
I, thank you, Phil.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable,
Mhm.
but that also protects us.
Yeah.
If at 3 years, things aren't really going great, we're not fighting to try and keep it up.
Yep, I think that's smart.
Okay.
Oh, and there is one more technical thing. Sorry, I think this is the last
That's
technical
okay.
memo in there. There's a memo in there that elaborates on water control. So,
All right,
what-
let's see.
One of the big unknowns that we lob to the contractor is we give them the authority, the ability to determine how they want to do water control to isolate the work area from flow. When they do their excavations and dam removals, they're not working in the actively flowing channel. They reroute the stream, but they need some information to know how big and durable to make their diversion works. And so we did some math to sort of give them an idea of how much water they'd be dealing with on a given day, what capacity they could expect to find in the different outlet structures if they phase, shift the water over here 1 week, work over here, and then shift the water over there. So that elaborates on it a little bit. We're still not telling anyone exactly how to do water control, but we're giving them the information they need to design their water control. And water control plan is one of the things listed in the special conditions that they would have to submit to us for our review. And we typically do a technical review of it, like we'll do the math and make sure it works. But that could also be something you could have under your review purview, and if you wanted to have a peer reviewer check that too, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, Sarah and I have gone back and forth on that, and it's sort of,
It's
undefined, it's a little ambiguous because there's a lot of deference to the contractor in terms of discretion. But what she's talking about particularly is there's a second outlet on the pond down toward the Northborough side.
Yep.
And that's an obvious diversion point. But the problem, of course, is the stream channel downgrading of that across Pleasant is considerably smaller and has far less capacity. So that's sort of what we've gone back and forth on.
And where did you land?
I knew you were going to ask. We didn't really, we just,
Yeah.
we said it was a problem. The wonderful thing about the site is that directly down gradient in the existing stream channel of the dam, we have an existing channel that's not going to be modified, changed, or otherwise altered. So it's possible to simply snake around the dam area and have an outlet. And that can
On
be
the
done
other side of
through
Pleasant
large-
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's several ways of doing that. So it's not a single diversion on the secondary outlet down next to Northborough.
Right.
And it gets into the sort of thing where it depends on the contractor, the kind of pumps the contractor has, and the kind of equipment the contractor is bringing to the site, and what they prefer, and the options all work.
Okay.
And it's been a little bit of my frustration trying to peer review it, but I've done several of these now, and I know that this is very typical, that a lot of discretion is dumped on the contractor in terms of how.
Which is why it's so important
Yeah,
to make sure the contractor is the right person.
right, but it
Right.
shifts the burden to you guys because you're not sure what you're approving. See, that's my
Right.
frustration, because I want it to be black and white, and the design engineer wants it to be very gray. And it's kind of like, this push back and forth. So that's a little bit, but I'm okay with where it is at this point, because I think they have multiple options, and
And they're all reasonable.
they're all reasonable, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And the good thing is that we can pick a qualified contractor. We don't
Yes.
have to go
Yes.
with the lowest bid.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a huge piece right there.
Yeah.
Because we have very qualified contractors.
Yeah, as she says, there are 4 or 5 people who do this regularly, and they've, that wasn't the case a decade ago, but now we have a couple companies that are really good at this.
Awesome. Yep. And I do find the guys in the field often, especially people who do it regularly, know what they're doing.
Mhm.
And
And
they
they're
don't
good
wanna
at
see you.
discussing it with
and they
us.
don't want to see me. Exactly.
Do it right the first time.
Yes, we were on a site walk a couple weeks ago, and I said to the property owner, "Don't make me be," and then I used a bad word. "Don't make me be that person. Just do it right."
Like,
So.
good cop today. Not bad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be bad cop, but I can be. And so you've reviewed all these memorandums as well.
I have, yeah.
Okay, and you're good with.
I'm good with it. Again, if you begin to go into it in detail, you're going to find that there's a lot of contractor this and contractor that,
Right.
but at least you've heard the background.
Sure, and why that's
Right,
okay.
and why that's
Yep.
the case,
Yep. Yeah.
I suppose this is our more information session. I
Yeah.
mean, this is to fill in some of the gaps. In terms of permitting, we're still waiting for 401, which it's your right and your prerogative to keep it open and as long, until you get that, so.
Yeah, I would definitely like the opportunity to wade through, or at least skim through some of this. And anybody else, if you want to look at this also, just so that we understand what, like Pat said, what we're approving.
Yeah.
And so what's your timeline, what's your hopeful timeline?
Our hopeful timeline is all permits in hand by March, so we can get our dam and seawall construction permit.
Yeah, we actually had a meeting with them today. And in order to get that grant, we have to have all our permits.
Maybe
Okay.
not all of them, but close.
Yeah.
And I think the question is that really realistic? I think it's still possible.
I definitely think it's still possible, because that's one of the bigger funding sources, so
Okay,
you gotta keep it continuous if you can.
sure.
So you don't hear it for another 10 years from now.
Right.
This would be a good moment to sell MVP.
It could be, but they were also talking about doing an MVP grant,
Okay,
And so I would like to meet with Kristen.
Yep.
And, sorry, there's so many names flying through my head right now. Kristen, and discuss whether we want to roll some things into an MVP, because if you do an MVP grant, you actually get more funding
Yes.
than a dam and seawall.
Yeah, we've done one project with an MVP grant here in town, and it was awesome.
So we want to do the awesome
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And maybe we could roll other things into that. I'm not really sure. but
Yeah,
that'd be
I
something
do
to
know
discuss.
that there is some wish list items for Pleasant Street there that the town has.
That's a good thing to know.
Yes. So that would be awesome. It would be amazing. If we can help in any way, I think
Well, I'd
we're
probably-
the only board in town that
Yeah.
has done an MVP grant so far. So,
So I think we'll meet about it first, and then what I would do is invite all of you to a meeting.
sure.
You, and Kristen, and whether it's virtual or in person. But I want to do a little bit of research
Sure.
beforehand.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely a viable possibility.
Yeah.
Especially if we can roll some other stuff into it.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Yep.
I might recommend not rolling the culverts into it because the MIPA, that would derail the MIPA,
That's true.
which we finished last year.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I know, but it's like the culverts really want to be part of it.
I know. So we'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's a good thing to put out there because
Yep.
it's very possible.
The town does have a MVP plan. So, which I'm sure is available. Kristen can get it for you, but I'm sure it's available on the town website.
Fairly sure I've
Yeah, we've
read
Looked
through
at
it
it.
a while back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have 36 towns that I do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow.
Which one was that?
Who are you again?
Yep.
I don't even know my own name today,
Yep.
so I don't know.
And if you find that there's some things that you think should be in there that would then help, our town meeting season is coming up. The warrant usually closes in February, so if we wanted to do anything that needed to be voted on at town meeting, I don't think the MVP plan needs a town meeting vote, but, just know that we're very willing to work with you guys to help make the whole project a benefit for everybody.
It could do a lot,
Yeah.
Brooke. Okay.
Excellent. So do we want to continue the hearing to March? Do you want to come in before that? Do you want, what do you think is reasonable?
Does it bother you to continue it to an earlier date and then put it off again
No,
and
no, no.
again?
No?
Well,
We just have to remember to vote at every meeting to continue it, that's why.
Well, you could continue to a certain date.
Well, that's what I'm hoping,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, you could continue to, for instance, February 15th, and then have Sarah ask for another continuance after that, so you
Right.
wouldn't have to think about it.
right. Well, yeah, that's why I was trying to push it out, at
Right,
least,
right.
at least to when we think you
And my
might wanna come
February
in.
15th is just a, made up date.
Yeah,
So that's up to them, but.
right, so we're already December, so January, February would make sense. I'll be gone this
I
month.
think February, just because
Uh-huh.
if we have to submit for the grants by March.
oh, yeah,
So
then
we
you
kind of want to
need,
make sure that, if we already have everything in hand,
yep,
then I think that's a good check-in point, maybe February.
And we'll know by then if DEP
Yeah.
will have a response.
so in February, we meet on the 4th and the 18th. I would prefer the 4th over the 18th, only because I may not be here for that.
Me too.
I'm trying to go
Okay.
somewhere warm.
I'm trying to go somewhere cold.
Why?
I have this lovely parking lot right outside.
Is it helpful to you?
Oh, I have it.
Oh, you have it.
That's what I'm writing up.
So,
I
do we
thought
want to
so. I thought
continue to
so.
February
Just as a-
4th, 2026?
I think that
And
sounds-
then,
Yeah.
okay,
Just need a motion.
I think so.
I make a motion to extend the hearing to February 4th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right.
Thank you.
We'll have a lovely holiday season.
You too, thank you.
I'm gonna take 2 minutes while I.
Yeah. Roger, we're gonna take 2 minutes.
We're gonna get all this digitally, right?
Absolutely. If you wanna take that packet, and then we can kind of pass it around.
This?
Do you go with Patrick
Oh,
or Pat?
what do you want?
I mean, I kinda don't wanna take this.
You don't,
A
okay,
friend who
what
just
do you
goes
wanna
by
take?
Patrick,
Do you wanna take
so-
all the words?
Well, I wanted
I
it to be
answered the
digital
letter.
so that I don't have to store this somewhere in my phone.
Good to see you.
Do we have,
Do well. I'm
Sarah,
around if you wanna.
do we
chat or
have-
talk, but-
do we have all of this digitally as well?
It's available on our file share, which I think I've sent to you, so maybe you have it, but if you don't, I will walk you through making sure you get all of it.
Okay.
If you want.
The
Okay.
bigger plant list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you
bigger
want
plant
one?
list, exactly.
Something you
From
read.
what I could make out, it looked,
There's a lot of
It-
things on the list.
yeah, I know. But it looked like all what you'd expect to see, so,
Good to see you.
thank you, Patrick.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
Have a nice Christmas.
You too.
Nice to,
Julia, I consolidated the plan set, cause there were just a couple of sheets I updated. Okay, perfect.
I will
I've never met him
obnoxious, I
before.
tend to correct.
Oh, you have?
Oh, me too. Yeah, I know.
it's always just this name that appears.
It's
on
all
the-
serious enough. We can,
Right.
we don't need to actually be super serious also.
Yeah, was coming early on with the highlighted stuff. I can see
But yeah,
Thanks for that.
now that we're not recording. For a
Oh,
minute,
no, it's
for a minute. Yeah. Oh yeah, you were on YouTube forever.
Awesome. Well, I'm a West Coast swing dancer, so I'm all over YouTube.
Yeah.
All my competitions.
No, but I did. I told the property owner, it's a bigger commercial project. I said, don't make me be an asshole, because I will.
Want to be good guy.
That's right.
Not bad guy.
And she would, like, I wouldn't say that to just anybody. I knew she could handle it. But yeah,
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet with you.
you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
You too.
Well, I was in Switzerland on vacation with my family, and I was looking at the pretty mountains, and I walked on it. Brought this back. This might not be a sweater to walk on the stairs in the mountain. Were you in Thunder Bay? It's true. You were in the most beautiful. I know. It's hard to walk.
Good thing our 7:30 canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were before I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I mean, we just talked about
Would
that dam for an
we
hour
be
and a
able
half.
to swap them? Cause I would've felt bad for these guys.
Yeah, that would've really sucked.
I
if
wouldn't
it-
have felt bad for them.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't, what's
I
the
knew this was
situa-
gonna
oh.
be wicked long, so.
It's okay, I'm okay. All good. It was just, we were at a Board of Health meeting, we were waiting and waiting for them to show up. Nobody came, nobody. Cause
Oh.
the abutters, we were all notified to be there. So
For
we
this
were there.
project, that project?
Yeah, and we were there. Nobody showed up, even the Board of Health, they weren't there, and it was posted.
The Board of Health didn't show up to their own meeting?
No.
That's weird.
So there was nobody here, no, so we just said, okay.
Huh.
And then we never got anything else, so we don't know what's going on.
That's weird.
What's the project supposed to be, do you know? A
They
new
were putting
house?
a sewer line, like, yeah,
A sewer line?
sewer connecting, I think, either to connect from the, yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what I
Interesting.
wanted to-
All right, guys, let's get through the rest of the agenda. I think we're pretty close.
Not too far away. So nothing for land acquisition. We're going to not talk about Bennett Trail since Ethan is not here. The scout project that Ishan was doing has been completed. Here's some lovely images. It looks great.
It does look great.
AJ is not here, but he did send me an email and wanted to raise the consideration of making a plaque to kind of commemorate the project for Ethan and Ishan. Not sure if we want to wait to talk about that until AJ is here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Don't think anything for Lyman Road. No updates for River Bridge CR. This is the CR that SVT has agreed to hold, but they want the amendments, but we can't make the amendments until we own it, so no real updates, still trying to figure that out. Horseshoe Pond, Kristen O'Brien of SVT has let me know that she's planning on doing a site walk of the area soon. It's the SVT's policy that baseline photos can only last for 6 months, and it's been 6 months, so she's going to go back out, make sure it looks the same as the photos did from when they were taken. And she's also sent me an acknowledgement form that basically says we're in agreement with all of the documents thus far. We reviewed them a few meetings ago, and everyone was on agreement, but before officially signing that form, just want to make sure the commission is okay with doing so. Yeah. All right. I will fill that out and get that back to her.
Did she say when she's doing the sidewalk? Doesn't know yet.
It was going to be one day this week. She didn't confirm exactly.
Do you want to try and go with her?
Um,
Because we can ask her to let us know, and then if it works out.
yeah, I mean, if it works out, that would be nice, but the week's halfway over, so.
Yeah, can you just ping her and just say, let us know when you're going? Some members might want to join.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Powder House Hill, SVT let me know that the Land Protection Committee is recommending that the board vote to approve the acceptance of the CR. Their meeting is on Wednesday, December 10th, so we will hear on December 10th.
That would be fabulous to get those two off of our list. That's
Yes.
potentially, that's amazing.
Absolutely. All right. For the Forest Stewardship Plan, not connected with Gary yet. We did talk at the last meeting about me finding the numbers of what things would cost. So I found what things would be per hour. We would pay the forester $85 an hour, $22 per gallon of paint, and 67 cents per mile in gas. I could not find an estimate of how much time and paint and gas was estimated, but that was the per hour that we had
What's
discussed.
the paint for, like
I was
tree
just gonna ask
marking?
that.
Probably, yeah.
$85 an hour actually seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So keep trying.
Yep.
And any updates, library or internship?
No, no. I'm probably gonna reach out a little bit closer to next year so that the new set of classes is about to start. Because the elective classes are on a semester basis, so.
Cool.
For the library, yes. Victoria would like to know if she could we could put her in the agenda for next meeting. I explained to her about the receipts and we can get the reimbursement, but she just wanted to come in for that.
Sure.
So that's cool.
Okay.
We can move it up earlier on the agenda so she doesn't have to be last, maybe.
Right.
Do
So we've got assuming that Randall Road really does happen at the next meeting, do we have any other hearings at the next meeting?
No hearings.
And have you given Randall Road a time yet?
Not yet.
So
Do we have a meeting on the 17th, or no?
we do.
Okay.
That's, yes, we've got
The
our friend
riding
on
ring.
Surrey Hill
Yes.
Road coming in
Mm.
on the 17th.
Good
So
times.
every ship but be here.
That'll take a while, won't it?
Potentially. Right, so, why don't you schedule Victoria for the library at 7:15, Randall Road right after, and then we'll do Surrey Hill
Would
after that.
would Ishan be coming in or no?
I don't think Ishan needs to come in.
No, because we
Yeah.
approved the invoice, and I don't think that there's anything else they'll need from us.
Right. And then unless there's something else, super pressing, we can kind of just blow through the rest of the agenda and.
Yeah, and the riding ring isn't technically a public hearing, correct?
Correct. That is an informational, it is certainly not a public hearing. We can call it, informational meeting.
Sounds good.
Um,
All right, that is everything that I have, unless anyone has any other comments, questions, thoughts.
Well, the only thing, AJ and I were talking, before he left.
mhm.
This is about the time, I think last year, when we started talking about Earth Day. We have to get into all that, of course, now, but just be thinking about what we can do. But when I was at school, when I was there teaching last week, I saw the principal and Rich Cameron, the assistant principal. They were very interested in doing another project, as you probably know. And so Earth Day is something that they feel would be a possibility.
Cool.
So we don't have to elaborate on that tonight, but again, you've done very well. We're interacting with them there as well, so.
They can make a contest to see who picks up the most nips.
Yeah, we
They can be
certainly,
teams.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say again, for that, the fishery thing, or that component of relocating, again, I think those are things that they're very open to that. So without further elaboration at this point, to think about how we could.
I forgot, talking about schools, Mrs. Rosso, I can't remember her first name, she used to do stuff with the vernal pool at BMS, and she is no longer teaching, and she doesn't think that anybody has taken that on other than Heather Simpson, who does the camp stuff.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe we could try to do something with the vernal pool. I don't really have a lot of knowledge about that, but I remember going out with her in elementary school and going to
I was
the
gonna
vernal
say,
pool.
wasn't she the enrichment teacher?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And I think moving the animals as well could be, maybe for the older elementary school kids, could be a possibility for that age group as well.
Sure. Yeah, I can. So, Glenn's sister is actually the one who got me roped into this, but also who got that vernal pool certified.
Oh, cool.
I wonder. So we can. Would you be willing to do the program if we helped you put together the program?
Potentially.
Okay.
If the kids are interested.
Yeah.
If the kids are being dragged there against their will, that's not my favorite thing.
Right.
But
Right.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I also wanted to see, I forgot, I talked to her a few weeks ago and I forgot, but reach out to BMS and see if there's anybody doing anything with it
Sure.
after her.
Yeah, but either as part of a science curriculum or
Right.
as an enrichment program.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would definitely help you put together some stuff.
Cool.
I can pick Karen's brain, see if she remembers what she used to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Heather would help
Right.
also put together something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no question, we build up a lot of goodwill And there were actually a couple of students that did participate in Earth Day last year, so
Yep.
I think, again, those are all things we can build upon, so that's been a great relationship that Lexi started, and, you know, we can work more to keep finding more.
Louise started it. Let's
That's
Well-
true.
Um,
Louise did start
Well,
it, and
of course,
then
in all fairness,
it-
everybody
Lexi,
who
yep.
should get the proper credit due, but again,
Yep.
I think the commission's been well received by that, and I think they're open to more ideas.
And
Cool.
I think
And
the
opportunities.
elementary school too, because kids are being pulled in fewer directions, might
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
have some more possibilities. But there's also the component of them needing parents to drive them everywhere. So
And it's something to say at the school board meetings, we're taking your kids away from the screens when
Right.
yeah,
that is
that's
a
true.
burning issue. I don't know if it is so much
Mm.
here, but it is certainly statewide and nationally, as I think we all know.
Mhm.
so-
Sure. Yeah, I think every parent is concerned about that these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
with
I
all
think as far as working with BMS, whatever we propose should happen at the school, you know, to make it easier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they do have after school care. At least they used to. So that
Right.
might be an opportunity as well.
Sure. Yep. Awesome.
Very good.
Good stuff. Got anything? Well, is that everything for everybody?
Yep.
All right, do it.
I make a motion to end the meeting at 8:56 PM.
Second.
It's non-debatable. All those in favor say aye.
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 We did it.